A deal up in Albany calls for broad new powers for the city's schools chancellor. Jeff Simmons is at the Board of Education headquarters with reaction. Jeff?
Lewis, all signs seem to point towards an agreement that will change the face of New York City schools. And it's a plan that will increase significantly the powers that schools chancellor Rudy Crew has over the 32 community school boards. And the flip side of that is that many of those boards will lose powers that they've traditionally had, including the hiring and firing of superintendents and principals. Now, down here at 110 Livingston Street, there's been a mood of excitement because this is one of the most dramatic reforms in over 2.5 decades. I caught up with Schools Board President Bill Thompson, who told me now that Schools Chancellor Rudy Crew is going to be given ultimate authority over the school system's 1,100 schools.
Right now, someone's in charge of New York City schools, by and large. The chancellor of the New York City public school system, for a change, really is in charge. So that now superintendents, what school districts hiring superintendents, have to come past the chancellor. Principals now are hired by those superintendents. It is landmark legislation. It really is a great moment for education in New York City.
And what does all of this mean? Well, for one, it's going to mean that community school board members, close to 300 of them, are going to have to undergo training. They're going to have to file ethics disclosure forms. There will be financial monitors appointed in each district, and in each borough there will now be a deputy chancellor to oversee finances. And successful districts, well, they're going to get more of an opportunity to control spending in some of their schools. The reaction down here at 110 Livingston Street has been mixed, with some union leaders saying it's about time that there's been something to be able to take out the patronage and politics out of appointments, while others are saying that the legislation just doesn't go far enough.
With the chancellor having more authority over the selection of superintendents and holding those superintendents accountable, it can only benefit the end product, which are the children in the schools. School councils or school-based decision-making groups or whatever you want to call them need real power over their budget, over their school organization, and over the power to hire and to fire principals, and they didn't get that out of this. And so I think that the legislature went part of the way towards a real reform, but not all the way, and I think New York City schools will suffer in the process.
I spoke to Schools Chancellor Rudy Crew, and he says to me he's very excited about this proposal, and he's calling a staff meeting for Wednesday to discuss and lay out how he can enact many of these elements that are within the legislation. Now, there's one element in there that really wasn't addressed. There has been a rising concern over community school board elections and the very existence of community school boards. But under this legislation, there will be a task force created to study those elections, decide whether they should be moved, and whether the school board members still are necessary in New York City. In downtown Brooklyn, Jeff Simmons, back to you, Lewis.
Thank you, Jeff.